Hello, everyone. Dr. Eames here. This time I'd like to talk to you about planning and decision making. Um, Really, there are two sides of the same coin. If we're going to make a plan, then in order to advance and determine what our objectives are and how we're going to get there, we have to make some decisions. So you have to say that decision making is the cornerstone of planning. And it really is the catalyst that drives all the planning process and everything we do, making decisions. Um, It helps us set our goals, and it's an integral part of setting goals and making sure the plan is sound. So, decision-making process is really just hand in hand with the planning process. And all organizations do planning. They don't do it the same way because all organizations don't have the same environmental context. And so we do our plans within our particular business setting, the environmental context, depending on what it is, dictates the sort of strategy and plans that we're going to make. In order to advance our plans, we simply make goals. And these goals are meant to be stepping stones or benchmarks that guide us on the way to making sure that our plans are uh, come to success. So all goals, in a sense, are very linear. They're step by step, and they are tied to higher goals and plans. Here's the process for planning. You can see up here, everything is done within that environmental context. That's what drives the type of decisions you make and so forth. Up here, we don't want to forget about the organization's mission. And really, this should say the mission statement and the vision statements. Those are the highest level thing that we develop to say this is what we are all about. This is our very first plan. That's where you start when you found an organization or a business. You start by writing your mission statement, and maybe you might write your vision as well. Um, then we have our next level of plans, which are the strategic plans. Now, these strategic plans have a time period and so forth, and they're meant to really talk about what we want to do. And if we have a vision statement, that's the why of what we do. The thing about the mission and vision statements and the strategic plans, they don't have very much detail. They're very much conceptual and about visions and values and beliefs and where we want to go and so forth. When we get to the tactical plan, these are the actual action plans that we use to get the strategic plans to advance and to move forward. So tactical goals, because we need those goals at each level of the planning process to advance that plan. The tactical goals are the action goals that we have to reach, our benchmarks that we need to reach to make these strategic plans that are higher up work. And so this is where we start to talk about how we're going to do something and exactly what in more detail. So the mission statement, along with the vision statement and the strategic planning, are the what we want to do and the why. But when we get the tactical plans, it's how we're going to do it, and specifically the details of what that is, of how we're going to do that. And so that leads us to our lowest level of planning, but the most basic and the most foundational, which is the operational plans. Those are down at the operational level where operations take place. In other words, where workers are actually conducting the business of the company and making the money and the revenue for the company. So goals advance the plans. We have three levels of goals and three levels of plans. These levels correspond to the same levels of management that we've already discussed. The operational plans come at the operational levels, first line managers. Tactical plans are put together and managed by middle managers. They are in the middle. These are the first action plans. The most detail, of course, would be needed down here at the operational level because this is where the work is being done. Therefore, you need to have the most detail. So very little to no detail in the mission and vision statement, very little detail, if any, in the strategic plan, and then the beginnings of broader swaths and general statements about what we're going to do about all that, and then the real details of how the work is being done at the bottom. So goals and plans align neatly with the levels of management, and the mission statement at the top is also has to be considered a planning and strategic part of the planning process. And so therefore we look at it in that context. Okay, folks, that's all I wanted to talk about this time. I'll talk to you again soon.